Hey guys, today I thought we would do a little breakdown of prices and colors because I know that we did, our previous Sapphire video where we really go into depth of all the characteristics and all the things you need to know when buying a sapphire. But today I thought we could do like a really quick kind of breakdown of giving concrete examples of sapphires, prices, things that I'm looking for when I'm buying for clients. So let's start with color because obviously color is going to be the most important when you're buying a sapphire. So these are some examples that I have that are not quite light blue, but they're still a little bit darker than the medium blue. So generally what I find clients are asking the most nowadays are that kind of like medium blue. It's very much this range, okay? But there's a lot of shades in between, a medium and a royal blue. This is what I would consider medium. And then we are actually going into the royal blues. So this one is even a little bit lighter than this example. This is what I would consider a royal blue. So this is a sapphire. It's a 3.89 carat and it goes for 24,000. This guy is a 4.24 carat and it's going for 29,000. It is definitely a little bit bigger, but the price difference for almost an entire carat is not that significant because this one is more of a darker, more saturated, true royal blue, right? Because color is going to be more important. So this one is ever so slightly lighter. Personally, I would probably prefer a little bit of a lighter stone because it's going to have a little bit more fire, right? And that's when there's going to be different things that are going to come into play. Like if you have a very royal blue, you really want to make sure that the cut is very good. Because if you have a cut that isn't good, well, there's no light going through, which means that it's just going to look like a black stone with very little brilliance. This is why this one is really a beautiful stone because it has a nice cut. And even though it's very dark, well, very dark for, what we're getting asked for, you're going to see it still has all this fire. Like this is what you want. For sapphires, we don't usually get under 2 carats. This is something that I think is really important because a sapphire, again, is going to weigh a lot more than a diamond. And so when you are going to be choosing a stone, you have to kind of think of that in consequence. This one, for example, is a 2.3 carat. So this is what it's going to look like on hand. To me, this is a very beautiful size. It's a very beautiful size. It really pops. It's 2.3 and it goes for about almost 13,000. So this is a 3.28 and it goes for just over 17,000. So it is a little bit bigger. This one actually has a little bit more of like a velvety hue, which I kind of like to it. I wouldn't say to the point of being cashmere, but it has almost like a slight, not milky undertone, but a little bit more of a velvety feel. Do you need to go as large as over 3 carats for a round stone? I don't know, not necessarily. I think that when you're going for rounds, even 2.5 carats is more than enough versus when you're going for, let's say, a radiant, this is a 3 carat. So proportionally, you're going to see what it looks like differently. I find that when you're going for other shapes, when you're going for like pear cuts, ovals, going in that larger carat weight looks a little bit better than a 3 carat round. There's just something... There's something about it that looks a little bit funny to me. I find that because it's round, I guess this is a personal preference, obviously, but I do prefer a more elongated shape because I find that in larger carat weights, they do tend to look a little bit more feminine. When you're looking at sapphires, one of the things that you always want to consider is, the carat weight. When you're buying a sapphire, the carat weight... Okay. A sapphire is going to weigh more than a diamond, right? So for the same carat weight, you're going to have a much smaller stone. Here are 2 examples. We generally don't get requests for under 2 carat sapphires because the price points are, on par with diamond. You will get a significantly larger stone. So usually it's 2 and up. This one's round and this one is a cushion. They both weigh about the same weight, around 2.3 carats. And you're going to see that the cushion is smaller. There are stones like cushions, for example, that tend to have a little bit more depth. And so these are also stones that, again, are going to appear a lot smaller in comparison. So speaking of cuts, we also have a radiant and an emerald cut. A lot of clients will actually ask me for an emerald cut because it's a very regal cut, kind of like a true classic, but I find that for sapphires, a radiance is usually the way to go. Especially when you have stones that are a little bit more saturated, a little bit darker, for example, like these 2. You can clearly see which one is a radiant by the brilliance in comparison to the emerald cut. If you don't know this, an emerald cut only has about 52, I think, facets, and a radiant cut will have up to like 72 facets. Just the fact that it has more facets just creates so much more, like reflection, which makes your stone a lot more brilliant. And so that's why oftentimes when clients will ask me, I want an emerald cut, I always sneak in a few little radiants, and they often end up going with that because it just sparkles. And that's kind of what you want for your engagement ring. I'm not opposed to emerald, but definitely be open to it if you're looking for that rectangular cut. The emerald cut, it's a 3.62 carat and it goes for 25,000. We have the radiant cut 3.10 carats and it goes for 21,000. So it is slightly smaller. The color is very similar. One thing that I would note is that this one does have color zoning. So when you're going to look on the screen, you're going to see that it has kind of almost like a line that goes through it. This is something that's very common with blue sapphires. I see it all the time. Like even if you look at this cushion, it has like color zoning. So the reasons why I keep these in inventory is that they are still beautiful stones. They are natural stones. This is going to be expected. If you have a stone that's going to be like through and through, like the perfect equilibrium of color, there's a chance that it could actually be synthetic, and it feels actually flat. Having nuance in the stone, I find, just makes it more beautiful, and you don't actually see it as pronounced when it's going to be mounted on your finger. So even though you see it clearly right now, keep in mind that they're magnified 10 times, bigger on the screen, and on hand mounted, it won't show as much. And then there's the factor, let's be honest, I've served every type of client. I actually have clients who don't want a perfect stone, who want impurities, because it just makes it more interesting and more personable, which I definitely agree with. So these are still really beautiful stones. All right, so now let's break down some of the price points, because these are all going to be heated. We do sell quite a bit of unheated stones, but it's generally more in request. When people, request specifics, then we'll import them. So they will be significantly more for an unheated stone. These are kind of what you can expect. So for the round, if you're looking at, a 2.3 carat, this one is going for 12,800. I feel like that's very reasonable for an 8mm stone. It is quite large and it can stand alone on itself. Next, we have a 3.3 carat, and this one is going for 17,000. So it's actually not that big of a jump. The reason why is the larger stone has almost like an ever so slightly kind of milkiness. It has a little bit more color zoning than this one. Like you're going to see in the video that the smaller 2.3 carat pops a lot more, and that's going to influence the price. Again, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because it still has quite a bit of fire, and it's a personal preference as well, right? You might like this more of a satiny look than considered the standard aesthetic. Next, we have these beautiful ovals. So again, the larger one is slightly under royal blue, and it's a 4.24 carat and it goes for 30,000. It does come with a certificate. So this one's a little bit of a larger oval in compared to this one. So this one's really kind of more that skinny oval. Again, this is really a personal preference. Like I think maybe about 2 years ago, the skinnier oval was like very in, like people really wanted, a very elongated shape, but it's really whatever you prefer. Next, we have this pair. This is one of my favorite ones that came in. So this is a 3.24 carat. It goes for 14,000. I think this one's probably going to go pretty quickly because it is the more, desired, a little bit lighter stone, but it just has such nice brilliance, and it is quite large, again, because it's not a stone that is very, very deep, that you're losing the weight in the depth. This is a 3.24 carat, and it almost looks the same size as this 4 carat. So it's very well cut. Next, we have this cute little cushion. It is a 2.4 carat and it goes for 13,000. It does come with a report as well. So these are some of the inventory that we do have that are going to be uploaded on the website. We only have one of each, so they're there until they're there. And if you have any other questions or comments, like this is just, I wanted to show you concrete examples, but we have the whole breakdown of like what to really look out for in a sapphire on our YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. If you do want to work with us, you can always just send me an email. My links are down below. We specialize in sourcing high quality natural gemstones, only natural. So do reach out if you are looking for something specific. All right, guys, so thanks for watching. My name is Flux, a custom jewelry designer, and thank you. Bye.